Khans of the Steppe DLC is here, and it brings with it new mechanics and ways to play the game. I want to try each of these new mechanics, and to do that I'll be starting in the 867 start date in the Khazar horde. Not as the Khagan himself, but as one of his count level vassals, Bulkan of the Bulkier dynasty. Taking a look at our situation, our character, well, it's what you would expect from a randomly generated character, not great, not terrible. We own just a couple counties within the Great Khazar horde, and as we are a vassal, we can't actually migrate, which is crazy. You're not playing as a nomadic ruler if you can't migrate. So we will be needing to get independence. Thankfully, there's a straightforward way to do that, it seems. As a nomadic vassal, we really don't have any agency, and we are completely subservient to the whims of our Khagan. If he were to decide to move the Great Khazar's horde somewhere else, we would lose all our land. To become independent, we just need to become a tributary. And to do that, we just need to get the Khagan to like us a little bit more. We do share our culture and religion with him. The Khazar culture isn't really that great, it seems. We have the Ascendant Fight tradition, which makes it so that we lose 40% more people during battles, although it does give us some nice battle bonuses. And we have only the Strong, which makes it so that we'll have less champions with the minimum of 12 prowess requirement. Our men-at-arms will be more expensive and they'll be smaller. Also, we have even more battle bonuses. Hopefully that will beat out any debuffs of having a smaller, more expensive military. We also have minus 25% levy, but as we are a nomad, levy does not impact us at all. And it seems that as a nomad, your men-at-arms are the most important part of your army. You have these generic horde riders, but you also have access to these incredibly powerful men-at-arms, look at that. And this is in the 867 start date, we're still in the tribal era tech. We are also an unreformed Jewish faith. We are pluralist, we can create a spiritual head of faith, so we'll probably be doing that at some point. We have the Halakha tenant, which allows us to condemn vassals. Legalism, which makes it so that we really don't want to be a sinner when we're a powerful lord. And we have the Chosen People tenant, which seems very terrible to me. It makes it so that you can practically only spread your religion along the counties of your own culture. So if we reform Khazarism, we'll probably be getting rid of that. Khans of the Steppe adds this herd resource, which is everything for nomad rulers. That's where our money comes from, that's where our army comes from, everything. And we can use it to bribe our Khagan. With just 112 herd, we can gain another 38 opinion with him. If we offer them even higher tribute, he allows us to be somewhat independent. We are no longer his vassal, although we are still his tributary, meaning we still give him some of our herd and prestige. But now that we are technically independent, we can migrate. We can of course only migrate within the Great Steppe, so I think it's time we start moving eastwards. We can only reach here, which is still just the outskirts of the Khazar horde, but it's good enough. So we're now here within our new county. Our previous domain is now held by these sheep herders, which will just become someone's tributary. Well, just like we are, but not for long. My plan is to move further enough east so that I can stop paying tribute to the Khazars without them coming to destroy me. Now, there's this new stat each county has, fertility, which is basically development but for nomads. And fertility goes down pretty much whenever you're holding it. The only time it goes up is when it's held by these herders, these shepherds. And that kind of encourages you to travel around and move. And I know we just got here, but the fertility in this county isn't very good. And we can straight up just move to a better place that's more fertile, this county here that I found with 100% domain fertility. We don't have to bribe them to get them to buzz off that land and give it to us. And we will be slightly further from the Khazars. So this new county was a tributary of this Elak fellow. Now I have the option to either become his tributary or to not be his tributary. Now he himself is weaker than us, but with his allies, yeah, he could definitely take us on. And if I become his tributary, I get a normal herd and low prestige transfer tributary contract. Which is an improvement, cause technically right now I am under high obligation to the Khazars for my tributary. So really that would be an improvement for me. Absolutely, I will gladly be your tributary. I now gain more prestige, more herd, and I technically am considered to be part of this guy's realm, but that doesn't matter, it won't last. So I was just slowly working on increasing my army, preparing myself to break free from the Bulgars, my suzerain, when this guy attacked me. Now with his ally, they have about twice as many troops as me, so only fair that I get an alliance myself, eh? Well, no one seems to want an alliance with me, so I guess I'll just try and smash them before they can unify. My character does have the intrigue education, but it seems to me that the only correct lifestyle in the steppe when you are such a small ruler is to go down the martial lifestyle. I took the first few in Gallant just to make me a better commander with the knight effectiveness and the advantage. Next I'm going to be going down the strategist tree. Oh yeah, look at that, it wasn't even close. Yeah, that's a stack wipe. Oh. And now I can make their pretty good commander my own pretty good commander. That was good. They did hire more troops, and they're probably going to group up with their allies soon. So you know what, I think as I have 50% war score, I'm just going to go ahead and take the white piece, so I don't have to worry about them. That was a bit of a wake-up call. I should probably, well, either get out of here or try to increase my strength somehow. Yeah, I think I'm going to move to this county here. Now my suzerain is kind of busy with a war and he's not really that much more powerful than me. I'm just gonna go ahead and cease paying tribute. Hey, and for the first time since the game start I'm fully independent. I can also get this shepherd to start giving me tribute. Really moving up in the world. He says, surrounded by nothing except sheep. So I went up one level of dominance here. I am now basically a duke level. That's the way I look at this dominance slider over here. We have Count, Duke, King, Emperor, and then Khan of Khans. Now I made myself a little duchy level title that increases the capacity of my herd. Once you get to the maximum, you can't really get any more of that, and increasing your title level is one way of increasing your herd capacity. Another way of increasing your herd capacity, as well as improving your position overall, is to improve your, basically, camp, or what would be your estate in an administrative realm. Among other things, we can make it so that more of our herd translates into our military. The fertility here is kinda spent, so I think I'm going to migrate. I'll migrate here for now, and now that I've moved up to limited dominance, I'm no longer just gonna get one county here, I'm going to get the whole duchy. And we are now bordering a confederation, which is basically just a defensive alliance. I don't really mind having them there, it just means that no one's gonna attack me out of there. Probably. I moved a little bit further east, here into the eastern parts of Tartaria, and I've taken some land from, well, landed rulers, meaning that I can just go ahead and raise their castles for some extra money, as well as some extra fertility. Well, here's a stroke of good fortune. I just became a conqueror. Meaning, I get 5 gold per month, which triples my income. Men-at-arms are cheaper. I'm very hard to murder. 50% more herd capacity, Because I need 10k to get up to the next level of domination, the king level, I can already do that. 5 legitimacy per month, so I'll always be completely legitimate. And yeah, basically lots of good things overall. I moved a little bit south and I'm free of the oirats. In fact, the oirats don't seem to exist anymore. And I'm slowly growing my strength down here. I'm earning 80 horde per month, which is far better than the 10 I was earning before. We've done it! We got to the level of 10,000 herd, which means we can click the button to become high dominance or king level. I suggest that when you are trying to get a herd, it's not a bad thing to have your tributaries rebel against you. I had a couple of these one county tributaries rebel, and when I defeated them, each of them gave me like 1800 herd, which pushed me over the limit. So now that I am high dominance, with high dominance I can go ahead and create a kingdom level title. Now, when you're creating titles, of course, you have to fight anyone that holds lands within that de jure title. In our case, the only people that hold land within the Sirdaria kingdom are us, our tributaries, and Transoxiania, who I've beaten before and they aren't very powerful. Let me just do this. And like that, without even a war, I am a king level ruler. And as high dominance rulers, now when we migrate, we get an entire new kingdom. And I think I do want to migrate. I've moved back up here. Now, as you can see, I am a king still, although I only own one duchy, so I think I'm going to spend some time bringing all these areas around me under my control, either as tributaries or as vassals. And I think I'm going to stay here for a while, because as king you don't really need to move around for the fertility so much, you can just get everything from your vassals. And I will be growing my strength until I eventually become the next level of dominance, at which point my plan is to go back to Khazaria. It's been a few years, so let me catch you up. I've grown my kingdom a little bit, as you can see. I'm earning 131 herd per month, which is the best I've had this game. I've had a succession and my next character is fine. He has decent martial. I did lose the Conqueror trait because succession happened when this guy was still underage. And I don't mind that, honestly. I think that the Conqueror trait is so powerful and you get it so randomly and so often that it just cheapens the game somehow, I don't know. I don't feel like I'm accomplishing as much with the Conqueror trait. Now, I am surrounded by confederations to my east, west and south, but the Western Confederation has just unified into a kingdom. Meaning that they are technically not a confederation anymore, they're just a kingdom and they're extremely weak. Well, that opens some opportunities for us. I'm just gonna attack them and make them all my tributary. And after defeating the mighty 600 army confederation, my name is bigger on the map and I'm gaining quite a bit more herd. We're at 30k herd, so we can go all the way up to absolute dominance. Meaning we can migrate our entire empire, so now finally the Khazars are a potential target. We can establish the Paisa system, but I think we still need one more ledger tech in order to do that. Okay, so what do I wanna do? If I were to potentially try and migrate to the Khazars, I would have to fight them, obviously, and they are stronger than me. So for now I think I'm just going to build up my men-at-arms a little bit more. I've built up my yurt quite a bit over the years. We have the bazaar giving us a bunch more money, as well as the ovo for the same reason. We have millet storage for the fertility, and I'm currently working on the square of Tamen for the men-at-arms and the herd levy. I'm a conqueror again. Yeah, this is absolutely ridiculous. I reset the game rules at the start of this game. And I gotta tell you, man, at default conquerors are way too common. With my previous character I got the conqueror trait, then with this character I lost the conqueror trait, and now again I am getting it. Yeah, I mean, this is way too common, and I really need to remember to adjust the game rules so that they're less common in the future. Anyway, as you can see here, I've taken the title of the Khazars from the Bulanids because I have the bigger herd than them. I'm at 50k herd, I need to get to 75 to become Khan of Khans, which I don't think will be a huge problem. The Bulanids do still have more troops than me, but I think I'd be able to win anyway because I just have that many more bonuses and probably better commanders. Also, they are currently distracted by their war against Scandinavia. Scandinavia, of course, ruled by a conqueror and has conquered most of Russia and Central Europe, damn. Their collapse is going to be spectacular. I'm gonna try and migrate to the Ukrainian steppe, even though they have more troops than me. Let's see what happens. This is a little scary, I've already lost my entire kingdom, meaning that I've also lost most of my commanders. That's a little worrying. I'm gonna try and go over the Caspian Sea, so I can get to their capital sooner. Oh, never mind, here is their army. Oh dear, I've accidentally got locked disembarking into the enemy army, where I will likely get annihilated. Oh no, for a second I thought we might win. Oh, this is worrying. Okay, and the war score jumped to 100% in their favor, and I lost the war. I'm back to being a count level vassal, and I've lost all of my tributaries. Well, at least I kept my herd, as well as my dominant level. So I can, in theory, just try that again. For now, I'll just migrate here so that I'm closer to them. The time for round 2 is fast approaching. There it is. I can get the strategist trait, which will hopefully help me fight this war. As you can see, this is our new realm, sort of wrapping around the Bulanids. I spent some time increasing my men-at-arms. The Bulanids are about the same strength as before, so I'd say we definitely have a much better chance of winning this time. So let's try it again, and this time be more careful. Man, that was such a bad mistake to just accidentally disembark into the enemy, damn. Let's do this. This time I'm going to try and wait for them to get to me. Oh, here they are. I can catch them here. Oh, nice. That's a 13k stack wipe. Okay, yeah. We definitely won this war. Now that our army is destroyed, I go for their capital. Nice, I can catch them before they form up. I'll take some attrition probably, but that doesn't matter. Now, in just 9 months, the war should be won. Also, I was apparently dishonored somehow, and I lost a level of fame. I was not paying attention to those pop-ups, I admit. Oh well. Got our capital, but that only got us like 10% war score. 90% war score, which is enough to get the win. Now let's see, do I get all of the Empire of Khazaria? I mean, I should, right? Yeah, you seize all territory within his realm that is part of Khazaria. Please give me Empire. So it looks like not quite everything, but I did get most. Thankfully, I hadn't changed faith or culture since I left Khazaria at the beginning, so it probably shouldn't be too difficult to placate all my new subjects. Although, as I did lose the Conqueror trait, I now have to pay for our armies, and that means that I do not have as much money as I used to. But the reason why I migrated to the Western Steppe is that there's a lot of rich empires here. And while I did do some raiding while I was in the steppe, there's not a lot of things to raid there, everyone is poor. But here, once I raise my army, I put myself in charge, as I do have the raider trait. I can put one of my Curl Time members to help me raid, giving me more max loot, and it increases my raiding speed and movement. Here we have this new mechanic of raid intent. I'm gonna go for adventure, which makes it so that we're slower, but we can get much farther and get much more loot. Whoa, look at that, I just looted in a matter of days, that's awesome. I'm already at 600 loot. I've barely been raiding for a few weeks. And I'm out of that just from the ransoms. So basically everything that's here is just going to be a bonus. Look at all those torches. All of that raided in no time at all. Remember what I said about the Conqueror trait being way too common? Well, this is 3 for 3. Yep, as you can tell, this is my next character. He's very young, and we control all of this. Now, all of this is the Empire of Scandinavia, which used to be ruled by a conqueror, but now that they're my tributary, they lost that trait, and looking at all these rebellions, they're probably not going to get to keep all that land. It's nothing to me though. The Bulanid Khazars that used to own the Khazar Empire have mostly been wiped out. I do wanna take a few more of their duchies, at which point I'll just make them my tributary and they will no longer be an issue. My herd is getting pretty big, it's only a matter of time before I get to the 75,000 I need to become Khan of Khans. And yeah, at this point we're getting thousands and thousands of herd and gold just by raiding the Byzantine Empire, so we are pretty much at the top of the world. And to top it all off, we got the Conqueror trait for the 3rd time this game. This guy is probably gonna end up being the Khan of Khans. The time of reckoning is here. We have more than enough herd. It's time to become the greatest of Khans. Now first we need to go up to the final level of dominance, which is unrestricted. That finally gives us the option to become the greatest of Khans. So let's do that. And immediately we can just go ahead and press the button. Call the clans, proclaim that the world is yours, O Khan of Khans, and that though Khans and chieftains rise to deny you, you will become lord of all under the sky. By clicking this button, we are declaring war on all other nomads, and if we win, they become our vassals, and we become the greatest of Khans, which will basically give us all that we need to conquer whatever we want. Taking a look at my empire, we have almost 40k troops. Our subjects are almost all obedient to us. And our enemies, well, we have the Kyrgyz Khanate that has existed since pretty much the start of the game. And they are not very powerful. They used to be at like 15k troops, but they have hit a rough spot. And there are also a couple of confederations. Now they're stronger than they may appear because each individual ruler here has a somewhat decent army. Put them all together and they are quite dangerous. But I think that we, with our amazing men-at-arms, as well as our huge horde, I mean 100k herd, that's crazy, and our obedient vassals, I think we can take them on. Sound the drums of war. Yeah, that's a lot of people. It says here they only have 10k troops, but I don't believe it. So yeah, I'm literally at war with the entire steppe. We are the defenders, so basically as long as we don't get too much of our land occupied, we get a ticking war score. And their war leader is this guy. Not even the Kyrgyz Khan, but the vassal of the Khagan. Okay, that's odd, but alright. If I can occupy his capital, that will be a good boost. For now, I'm just going to wait for them to arrive and try and take them on one by one. And the Egyptian Sultan has also joined them. My enemies are grouping up down here, I should probably move down there. We have a host of 40k, will it be enough? Come on, yes, they're arriving bit by bit. And I can smash them bit by bit. Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, now is not the time to ask for pizzas or whatever. But fine, you can have one. Also, change to the correct religion. Anyway, nice, we have a victory over here. Oh, they're still arriving. Still walking into their doom. Oh, okay, here we go, battle number 2. And this one is an even greater victory than the one before. It still says they have over 100k troops, but it looks like I destroyed like 30k, so far, so good. And we're at 90% war score almost. They are sieging down a few of my counties up here, but that shouldn't matter, I'm hoping. So this is it. We have won. We have become the greatest of Khans. Also, their leader was captured, but not by me. He was captured by his liege. I mean, is this a joke or what? Never mind that. My Kurultai speaks for all the world. In the heavens are many great lights. In the heavens the sun, moon and stars, but on earth there can only be one Khan. I will have the world. So there we go. The Mongol invasion can no longer happen, as we are the Mongol invasion. I have the offer, submission or ruin interaction. I have a new CB. It looks like we have 75 years to take the Reform the Great Khaganate decision, which will make it so that, well, we can choose. We can either remain nomadic or choose one of the other government types. And I have gained the Greatest of Khans trait, which is freaking awesome. A level of fame, a legend, some event-spawned troops, and our dynasty gets the Golden Lineage, giving us, well, basically all the vassals we may ever need. Dread gain, more vassal tax. Oh, yeah, this is ridiculous. I love it. Let's test out this new CB, shall we? So the Khazar onslaught into Byzantine Empire. We have no cost, presumably because we're a conqueror, and we apparently get all of this guy's titles as well as the titles of his most powerful vassals. Let's do it. Yeah, it takes us a casual week to siege down a castle, don't mind us. Constantinople itself is of course very hard to siege down, so it's going to take us like 2 whole months to do it. And Byzantium is no more, and all of this is ours now. I just captured Jerusalem. That gives us access to our 3rd holy site, and after all this time we still haven't reformed it. We do need quite a bit more piety. We can get that from pilgrimages. But what we can do now is restore the Khazarite high priesthood. The office of the Nisi, the high priest of Judaism, has been vacant since the destruction of the Second Temple at the hands of the Romans. Yet if we are able to retake control over enough of our ancestral holy sites, a new priesthood could be established. Let's do it, why not? And we got a Jewish pope. Fantastic. Oh, and it looks like we can reform it through decisions. We don't even need piety. The Khazarite faith has long been practiced alongside local traditions, but no more. We must reject the old ways and embrace Judaism to the fullest extent. Well, I don't know. I like the old ways. We're just gonna choose coexistence. Yeah, and we reform our faith, the Khagan and the Khazari faith. For generations the nobility of the Khazar Empire have professed devotion to the Khazari faith, but religious pluralism with local gods has been commonplace with the Khazar society. However, with the restoration of the high priesthood, Kohen Gadol Nasi insists that this heathenist practice come to an end, and demands that all who swear fealty to the Khan must also swear fealty to God and worship him in the correct way. However, as Khagan, I ultimately wield authority to decide on the future of the faith in my Khaganate, and the future of the steppe rests on my sword. Word. Both, really. And look at that, like that, we are a organized faith. Neato. And we can even embrace the Hebrew language. Hebrew has been the liturgical language of the Jewish religion for millennia, but the diaspora has caused us to develop countless languages influenced by our neighbors. Now we have built enough of a community here that we may adapt Hebrew as the common language of our people. Yeah, sure, why not? And now, our culture has the Hebrew language. So I got all this, and I wasn't even trying. Being the greatest of Khans is way OP. I don't mind it really. It's a reward for unifying the great steppe. And as I say, it's so easy to conquer everything that if you tried, you could definitely easily conquer the entire world. Most people would just willingly become your vassals. That's a couple of duchies right there, and they're all willing to join you, pretty much. I'm not looking to do a world conquest, so I think it's time we reform the Great Khaganate. The Khazar Empire stretches farther than our great lands of grass, than the salt seas. All this was won on horseback. All can be kept, can be ruled only from the throne. From there, like the Lord, I must gaze out and see the makings of a new universe, one of Khazar laws, of new wisdoms, and the Khagan's eternal rule. So yeah, I become an exalted warlord. I get to choose which government type I want. Okay, so I can basically burn everything and remain nomadic. Let's do administrative, why not? And look, all of this is now my de jure empire. And get this, the Roman Empire can be restored by any Abrahamic faith. And as a Jewish faith, we are Abrahamic, meaning that we could just restore the Roman Empire. We can also re-establish Theodosian borders. Which is interesting. What that usually does is make the Levant a part of the de jure Byzantine Empire. But the Byzantine Empire doesn't exist right now. Actually, it does, but it doesn't hold any lands. So what happens if I press this button? Yeah, Theodosius' frontiers. Oh, and the Byzantine Empire is back. Interestingly, this time it doesn't control the Western Balkans or Italy. And now, if I press the Restore the Roman Empire decision, we have once again restored Rome. Well, this is getting to be a little bit too cursed, in my opinion, so I'm gonna end it here. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please leave a like and subscribe, it means a lot to me. And I hope to see you again next time.